And he poses the question, he says, is Christianity merely an ends to a means? Or a means to an end? Or is it an end in itself, an improvement of the world or the creation of a new world? In other words, is Christianity simply a tool that we use to bring about the kingdom? Or is there a sense in which Christianity is the very goal itself of the kingdom? He asks the question, is the world's good sufficient to overcome the world's evil, or is this world lost in sin? Because you see, embedded in the idea that it's through our ethical behavior that we can usher in the kingdom of God, there is a subversive idea buried within that claim, and that subversive idea is essentially the goodness of human beings, even in spite of the fall. Now, Machen observed essentially that ethics, what we must do, had been shorn, had been untethered from the theological foundation that the scriptures present. Now, Machen, if you remember, famously clashed with novelist and missionary, though perhaps we should put missionary in scare quotes, Pearl Buck, author of the novel The Good Earth, who described her experience in China as a missionary in the following terms. She said, "Let the spread of the Spirit of Christ be rather by mode of life than by preaching." So in other words, we have to remove the preaching and let's just live it before them. She says, "I am weary unto death of the incessant preaching. It deadens all thoughts. It confuses all issues. It is producing in our Chinese church a horde of hypocrites, and in our theological seminaries a body of Chinese ministers, which makes one despair of the future. Let us cease our talk for a time and cut off our talkers and try to express our religion in terms of living service so that we may show others and see for ourselves if our religion is worth anything or not." So we could say the emblematic version of her understanding of the Christian life is more deeds, less creeds, more doing, less preaching. More doing, less preaching. Or we could perhaps also describe the mindset in the way that theologian Richard Niebuhr described it, is that she essentially, along with many portions of the church, were preaching a God without wrath brought men without sin into a kingdom without judgment through the ministrations of a Christ without the cross. Because embedded in this idea that we usher in the kingdom of God through our ethics is essentially the goodness of fallen human beings. And so it's in this vein that Machen made the claims in his book, Christianity and Liberalism. The Christian movement, at its inception, was not just a way of life in the modern sense, but a way of life founded upon a message. A way of life founded upon a message.